December 7th, 1941. A quiet Sunday morning in Hawaii until the sky exploded. Sound of planes, rising tension. The attack on Pearl Harbor produced legends, from the USS Arizona to the pilots who scrambled into the air. But lost in the smoke, in the chaos, was the story of one man, a hero almost no one remembers today. A man whose courage changed the course of that morning, yet whose name disappeared from the pages of history. This is his story. His name was Peter Tomich, a 48-year-old chief water tender aboard the USS Utah, an aging target ship the Navy barely considered combat-worthy. He wasn't young. He wasn't glamorous. He wasn't even an American by birth. Born in what is now Bosnia, he immigrated to the United States with nothing but a dream. By the time of Pearl Harbor, he was a quiet, dependable man, known for hard work, discipline, and a calm smile that rarely left his face. But fate had a different plan for him. At 7:55 a.m., the first Japanese aircraft roared over Ford Island. The USS Utah, old, slow, and unprepared, took 2 torpedoes almost instantly. The ship rolled violently. Men were thrown from their bunks. Water surged through the lower decks. Panic swept the corridors. But in the middle of it all, one man ran toward the danger. Chief Tomich reached the boiler room. Steam was bursting from damaged pipes. The deck trembled. The ship was listing dangerously to one side. He knew the truth instantly. If the boilers exploded, every man still inside would die. He yelled to the younger sailors, "Tomich, firm, commanding, get topside, get out, move!" Man after man climbed the ladders, many of them looking back, expecting their chief to follow. But Tomich didn't move. He stayed. With desperate speed, he shut down the boilers, secured the steam valves, and held the system together long enough for dozens of crewmen to escape. He gave them life, at the cost of his own. Moments later, the USS Utah rolled over completely. Tomich never made it out. In the aftermath, Peter Tomich received the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest award for bravery. But there was a heartbreaking problem. No one knew where his family was. The Navy tried to find his relatives for decades. But his old homeland had changed borders again and again. Names were lost. Records vanished. Tomich became an orphaned hero. His Medal of Honor sat unclaimed for 64 years. Then, in 2006, long after the world had forgotten, researchers finally tracked down his only surviving relative, a distant cousin living in Croatia. The U.S. Navy invited him to Washington, D.C., and there, in an emotional ceremony, surrounded by sailors who represented the modern Navy, Tomich had died to protect. They finally placed the Medal of Honor into the hands of his family. A promise, decades overdue, was finally kept today. The name Peter Tomich still isn't famous. You won't see documentaries about him. You won't hear him mentioned in classrooms, but on the decks of the modern Navy, his story is whispered with respect. A training center in Illinois bears his name. So does a destroyer, the USS Tomich, ensuring new generations learn about the man who put others first when it mattered most. Tomich didn't fight to be remembered. He fought to save the men beside him. Narrator. Soft, reflective. On that dark morning at Pearl Harbor, heroes were everywhere. Some in the air, some on the sea, some in blazing gun turrets. But sometimes, the greatest hero is the one deep below deck, a man the world never sees, who gives everything so others can live. Peter Tomich may be a forgotten name, but his courage lives forever.